It's one of Hollywood's most notorious scandals, a story that, for years, was defined by betrayal.
A painful, very public split involving two of the most respected actors of their generation. We're talking about Billy Crudup and Mary-Louise Parker.
The moment that defined everything was back in 2003. A brutal separation while Parker was 7 months pregnant. It was. It was the talk of the town for a decade.
But what happens when that story, after 20 years, completely flips?
From a tabloid tragedy to, well, a story of pure maturity.
And just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession. Welcome to StarScope Report.
Join us as we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals.
From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And today, we are absolutely unpacking this complex 20-year journey of Billy Crudup and Mary-Louise Parker.
Yeah, and we're focusing on how this all centers on the boundless adoration they share for their son, William Atticus Parker.
So to really get the transformation, we have to start with the catastrophe, the absolute bombshell of 2003.
Right. Let's set the scene. Crudup and Parker, they'd been together for 8 years.
8 years. They met on a Broadway play, Bus Stop, way back in '96. This was a serious, established relationship.
Totally. They were moving toward building a family, and that's what makes the betrayal so staggering.
So in 2003, with Parker 7 months pregnant, Crudup leaves, just abruptly.
And he leaves her for his co-star from the film Stage Beauty, Claire Danes.
The timing, it was just devastating. And in Hollywood, a world obsessed with image, this was seen as, just deeply cruel.
The industry was stunned, but what really cemented the public narrative was how Mary-Louise Parker talked about her pain years later.
In her 2015 memoir, Dear Mr. You. And it wasn't, a direct attack on Crudup.
No, which is such a telling choice. Instead, she writes this open letter to a random cab driver she had an encounter with during that time.
And that artistic distance somehow makes it feel even more real.
Oh, absolutely. She describes screaming at this rude cab driver and then just breaking down.
The quote is just seared into my brain. She says, "I am alone. Look, see, I am pregnant and alone. It hurts to even breathe.
I'm trying to get through it, but I'm by myself every night and every morning, and nothing helps."
It's just so raw. And that specific pain is why the media backlash against Crudup lasted for so long.
It wasn't just another celebrity breakup. It was about abandonment, vulnerability, pregnancy. It hit every nerve.
And to be fair, Claire Danes did address it years later. She said she was young and careless.
The classic defense, right?
Yeah, she said she didn't quite know what those consequences would be and that she was simply in love.
A justification that almost never goes over well with the public, but it is at least an acknowledgement.
So the immediate fallout is the birth of their son, William Atticus Parker, in January 2004, just 2 months after the split.
And that name, Atticus, it tells you so much about where Parker's head was at.
100%. It's from To Kill a Mockingbird. Atticus Finch.
Exactly. She said she chose it because she wanted him to be happy and kind. It was like she was trying to build this bubble of moral integrity around him.
In just 2 weeks after he's born, she wins a Golden Globe for Angels in America.
Oh, that speech?
It's iconic.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of being bitter, she gets up there and thanks her newborn son for her boobs looking so good in this dress.
It was perfect. A moment of pure resilience. It really set the tone for how she was going to handle this publicly from then on.
This relationship was just defined by public pain for years, but what's truly fascinating is the decades-long media strategy both actors deployed to protect their son.
It was so coordinated.
Stay tuned, because the co-parenting rule they followed is a masterclass in celebrity damage control.
So the pain of 2003 required something more than just personal silence. It needed a unified professional doctrine, which brings us to what we're calling the architects of silence.
First, let's talk about Crudup's move. It was basically a preemptive strike against the 24/7 gossip machine that was just starting up then.
Right. A year after the split, he laid down the law on privacy, and he stuck to it for 2 decades.
He sent this incredibly direct email to a New York Times reporter. He argued the situation was, and I'm quoting here, personal, painful, and involves an infant, and does not deserve to be exploited.
He just drew a line in the sand. He called the press coverage of his life the trade of suffering, and basically said his personal life has nothing to do with his work.
Which was a huge move in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Before celebrities had Instagram to control their own stories.
And if you're loving these deep dives into how Hollywood stars manage these impossible situations, make sure you subscribe to StarScope Report. We've got more stories of unexpected emotional maturity coming right up.
What's so amazing is how rare that level of strict silence is.
Yeah.
So many celebs use trauma for publicity, for a comeback story.
He did the exact opposite.
He just doubled down on the work. His Broadway career, his film roles. He basically made his private life so boring the press gave up.
And it worked. When you think of Billy Crudup now, you think of The Morning Show.
You think of his Emmy, yeah.
Not the 2003 scandal. And that is because of this ironclad vow of silence.
And crucially, Mary-Louise Parker shared that boundary. Their defense was unified.
But her reasoning was all about being a parent.
In 2009, she told More magazine she'd never commented on it and never would because, quote, "It's not fair to my son."
And then she laid out what is maybe the ultimate co-parenting principle.
Your love for your child should eclipse any other feelings you have for another person.
I mean, that's maturity under fire.
And here's the key detail. Our sources all point to this. They immediately put their differences aside for the baby and, this is critical, they kept their custody talks out of court.
Which is paramount.
Yes. Keeping the lawyers out of the public eye prevented years of tabloid fodder that would have just destroyed their son.
They chose stability for him over any kind of personal victory or revenge for themselves.
And now, 20 years later, we are seeing the results of that strategy. The silence is breaking, but for a very different reason.
Because the mission has changed. It's not about co-parenting a child anymore. It's about
a professional partnership, supporting their son's career.
William Atticus Parker is 21 now, and he clearly has the acting bug.
Oh, he has the whole theatrical gene pool. Crudup has been openly praising him, calling him a badass actor, director, and writer.
And I love this quote. He said, "William has been endowed with superpowers for theatricality through the mashup of the two of us."
That's a complete reframing of their entire story. The painful origin is now a creative synthesis.
It's incredible. And William is already directing. He's made 2 micro-budget feature films.
40 Winks and Atrabilius. Look at the casts.
Oh, the casts are stacked. John Turturro, Whoopi Goldberg, Jeffrey Wright.
And his godmother, Susan Sarandon.
So their Hollywood connections are clearly in his corner.
But the real definitive proof that they've healed this thing, the ultimate sign of a united front.
They're working for him.
They are working for their son. Both Billy Crudup and Mary-Louise Parker agreed to co-star in his films.
Can you even imagine moving from that much pain to literally taking direction from your kid?
And Crudup told this funny story about it. He was working on one of William's early student films.
Parchment, I think it was called.
That's it. And he joked that his teenage son would just say things to him like, "Well, that's a stupid choice, Dad. Do it better."
If your 17-year-old is telling an Emmy winner to do it better, that says everything about the comfort level there.
It's beyond respect. It's family.
Yeah.
And you see it now on the red carpet. William will show up with his mom to the Tonys, then with his dad to the Critics' Choice Awards.
Where Crudup won this year and gave a shout out to his amazing son. The family picture is, it's complete, even if it's in separate frames.
And then we got the final emotional closure on the whole saga.
Just recently, yeah.
When Billy Crudup married Naomi Watts in 2023, everyone was waiting. What would Mary-Louise Parker say?
And her response was just the perfect, final, gracious move.
She gave them her blessing, her full support.
She told The Guardian, "I honestly, of course, wish them every happiness because that's my son's father. So I'm happy for them. I'm happy they found each other."
And that's it. That one statement completely rewrites the tragedy. The commitment to her son's well-being has officially overwritten the original betrayal.
The story isn't about the affair anymore. It's about this incredible long-term transformation.
It really is. They took a scandalous rupture and turned it into this functional, supportive unit built entirely around their son's art.
Which brings it all back to that middle name she chose for him.
Atticus.
Right. She wanted kindness and moral strength for her son. But in the end, it was the parents who had to live up to that name. Their sustained ethical commitment to co-parenting is what defined this family's public legacy, not the scandal.
That's a really powerful thought, isn't it? That a commitment to principle over decades can actually change the past, or at least change how the story is told.
You've been listening to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture.
Thanks for tuning in. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.